Hey everyone, welcome back to Rob's Car World. Today's pick is a 67 Lincoln Continental with suicide doors. I found this car on in Wisconsin on Craigslist just a little while ago. Posted 15 days ago, asking $35,000. We'll talk about the price. Let's go check this beautiful car out. I found this car just a little while ago on Craigslist. It's owned by a dealer. He gives some really nice photographs and a really comprehensive description, which is always welcomed. He appears to be a dealer. I'm not sure if he owns these cars as a consignment type dealer or if he's representing the seller directly and the seller or he owns the car outright. But either way, it's an interesting car. What strikes me right away is the beautiful bronze metallic color. He says here that the air conditioning is cold, everything works. The vinyl top was replaced a couple years back. The car was repainted, of course. The car comes with the 462 cubic inch V8 engine with 340 horsepower and 485 foot-pounds of torque. Now, I ride motorcycles, and if you get 50 pounds of torque on a motorcycle, that's a lot. You feel it. So, imagine that type of torque on the highway. The car's got 2.80 gears rear end, so it is really good for the highway, as far as pulling away with that massive torque that you have. This car can cruise on the highway with no problem. Gas mileage might be subject for interpretation. But everything else looks really nice. The interior, he says, has been redone. Everything works. The headlights work. Turn signals work. The door locks work, but they work very slowly because they're vacuum operated, which is very typical of the time. It comes with an AM 8-track player, power antenna, and an aftermarket FM converter. That's it. So he gives a very nice description on the car. So he looks like an honest type seller. Let's dive into the photos. The 67 Lincoln Continental was part of the fourth generation that ran from 61 to 69. And what's important to know and remember is that the body is integrated with the frame. It's not like the body on top of a frame, like a pickup truck and things like that, or other cars that were built in the 60s. These cars, the bodies were integrated with the frame that made it much more rigid and solid. And that goes with that solid drive. Another reason why they can do the suicide doors, too, because the body is integrated with the frame. So that's pretty cool. And in 66, they did a completely refresh of the car. They actually extended the car out by 5 inches to compete with Cadillac. These were not big volume cars. They sold like 46,000 units in 1967. And these were highly specialized cars for very wealthy families, and which makes the pedigree even more important today. So looking at the photos real quick, a professional dealer, he has a round table, which is impressive. So this person must be a very big dealer. And I'm thinking he might be a consignment dealer. That's what a lot of these guys are. But yeah, everything looks really beautiful. There's no, lights don't fold down, so you don't have to worry about hidden headlights and vacuum lines. I think that's very handsome, having the 4 lights out there in the grill. I think that's a really good look. There's the vinyl top that he says was replaced, and that looks beautiful. Paintwork looks fantastic. Got to remember, to paint a car like this today, you're talking $15,000 easily, and that's with you taking off the trim moldings, So there's a lot of work to repaint this car. So $35,000 in the sum of it all. If this car is as nice as it looks in the photos, I think it's pretty close to where, at $30,000. We'll get into the price a little bit. I want to bring a trailer. But yeah, everything looks straight. The doors look straight. All the moldings line up really nice. These big quarter panels don't look like they're heavily covered up with Bondo. It looks to be an original car. And look at that photo. Oh, my goodness. Look how beautiful those doors are. Absolutely beautiful. And rubber stripping in the strike plate here looks all original. The details of the hinge area. Look how wide the hinges were, how big and massive that door is. I mean, we're talking 2-3 people to take off that door. It's so heavy. And nice welcoming interior, very easy to get in and out. Definitely more chauffeur-type driven layout where all the controls are focused on the driver. There's that, he has the insignia of Lincoln on the seat. That's not OEM, I believe, but it does look nice, and power seats and such. So, yeah, every view of this car looks absolutely stunning. And nicely done by the dealer to give such nice photos. And there's that dashboard, just basically all the business is in front of the driver. Everything else is kind of monotone. And that's what they wanted to get out of this car when they built it, So fantastic looking colors. The air conditioning pumps really well, at least from the photo that we see here. When Ford Motor Company's air conditioning was working, it chilled you. It was like a meat locker in there. The engine bay looks really nice. It doesn't look like the engine was taken out of the car at any time, but it does look very respectable for its age. These two little hydraulic lines basically run the wipers, which was really interesting. When I bought my first Lincoln Mark III, I learned how that worked, and I scratched my head, and I said, I can't believe hydraulics is running the windshield wipers. But if you put your hand on the windshield wiper when the car is static, not running, you can move it right and left and do no damage to any mechanism because it's all hydraulic. It's quite interesting. There's the engine bay photo. Look again from this photo here. It looks like this engine was not taken out of the car at any time, but they did go through the car to detail it and possibly repaint things to make it look nicer. This here is one of the only photos that I'm questioning the quality of the repaint. I don't know if that's Bondo on this edge here, but something doesn't look right, and so that's something I would question and find out more about. But other than that, everything looks nice. The original trunk mat, too, is a little bit of a concern because, when you take that trunk mat out, it is a little dirty. Is there any surface rust between the trunk mat and the sheet metal? It's likely possible, not through, but at least something that would have to be, taken attention to refinish. But the undercarriage looks original. You're not going to find a rotisserie type car in this price range. I don't actually. This would be some car to do a rotisserie restoration on. It'll be $100,000 car by the time you get finished with it. But it looks respectable for what we can see, and it's nice that they gave us a photo of the undercarriage. That's always helpful. These straps for the exhaust don't look like they're OEM. They look like they're just aftermarket to hold that in. Maybe a little bit of surface rust. I would just poke around and see, but nothing that you can't take attention to. What's interesting to note is that the engine and transmission and things like that, back in those days, they used rope type gaskets, like to mate the engine and the transmission together. Even the front crank seal on the front of the car, the engine, I remember having a rope type gasket, and they do leak over time. So just something to FYI. But really nice car. Yeah, I like this car a lot. Obviously excited about it. From a price point of view, going on to bring a trailer where the prices are always very high. We're seeing convertibles for $50,000, $60,000. We're seeing sedans for $34,000. We're seeing some sedans here for $13,000. Oh, there's a convertible probably needing a lot of work. Here's a Continental Lincoln Continental with $28,000. So it was sold 2 years ago. So $34,000 appears to be on the top side of the market, but the car looks to be refinished nice enough to hold that price. So I'm probably in the $30,000 to $35,000 range. I'd like to buy this car for $28,000 if possible. But before I would quote a price, I would go through the whole car and spend an hour going through it and asking a lot of questions and diving into the condition and all. Because what you want, if you're going to spend this much money, you want to be in a position where you can enjoy the car as a collector car, have fun with it, and then 5 years from now, sell it maybe for $50,000, because I think that's where the market is going on nice examples of suicide doors. Especially 67 for me is one of the better model years as well. So I like this car a lot. And if you want to talk about how $35,000 makes sense, is that I went online and I looked up to buy a brand new Chevy Malibu at my local dealer here, and he negotiated a price of $36,900 for me. And that's not out the door. That's the price of the car without tax. So, that's a lot of money, folks. So if you're going to spend $36,000 on a brand new Chevy Malibu, this car becomes much more palatable at $35,000. At least that's how I would present it and rationalize this to my wife when buying this car and bringing it home. So Thanks very much for joining us here. We appreciate seeing you. If you like to join Rob's Car World, the easy thing to do is just go on our site here. There's 2 buttons. You can subscribe, and you can also like this video. Liking the video helps for the algorithm because the algorithm gets pumped up when you like it. And, of course, subscribing to the channel helps us grow. And please share this with friends that love cars as well. So if you want to find this car, the simple thing to do would just be go to Craigslist, type in 1967 Lincoln Continental in Wisconsin, and this beautiful car will come popping at you, and look at it for the last time there. It is a very, very good looking car. Thanks for joining us today. We'll see you again real soon.